So I woke up yesterday to one of the most unbelievable things I've seen in the last 12 months. It was a New York Times article saying that none other than Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell was facing a criminal investigation. I am not joking, but you know the crazy thing, you might think this is somehow related to interest rates, right? Well, no. According to this article, the US Attorney's Office in District of Columbia has opened a criminal investigation into Jerome H. Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, over the central bank's renovation of its Washington headquarters and whether Mr. Powell lied to Congress about the scope of the project, according to officials briefed on the situation. This is a ridiculous escalation from the Trump camp. We know the history. Trump has been trying to pressure Jerome Powell for a very long time as he wants to try and get interest rates lowered quite a lot. Let me assure you, this is not a good idea. It would almost certainly lead to a lot of inflation, and it's why America has an independent body like the Federal Reserve to control monetary policy so that it can't be manipulated by an administration that wants to achieve a political outcome over the greater good and the stability of the system. This is what's trying to be undermined at the moment, but it is very important that the Federal Reserve System stays intact. And so what you've seen essentially is Jerome Powell not cowering to the intimidation. He has not bowed to the wishes of Donald Trump. He has actually done the right thing. Now, you can argue that sure, he should have raised rates earlier as inflation started to rise after the pandemic shutdowns, but on the whole, he has done the right thing. And if you don't believe me and you want a real authority on the matter, you know, Warren Buffett has also said that Jerome Powell has done an exceptional job.
What do you think of the job the Fed is doing right now?
I do not think I could run the Fed as well as Jay Powell's run. I think Jay Powell has been terrific.
So if you don't believe me, believe Warren. But now here we are. Jerome Powell is being criminally investigated, and I want to play you his full response. It goes for about 2 minutes, but I think it's worth a watch as he explains it as well as anyone.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome Powell. He is literally being investigated by the administration, has to watch his name get dragged through the mud, all for doing his job, which is in the best interest of the American people. So for those that don't understand the whole situation, just want to explain exactly how this whole system works to give you a bit of a picture as to why this is all going down as it is. I think it's important to understand. Really, we have 2 main teams at play here. One is the US government, obviously led by Donald Trump, and the other is the US Federal Reserve, led by Jerome Powell. Now, what does each do? Well, the government's role is political, right? It's elected by voters and it sets fiscal policy, meaning it decides how much the country spends, what it spends its money on, how much it taxes corporations and individuals, and through Congress, it controls what laws get passed. Now, as we know, sometimes a government's incentives are very short-term focused. They want to win elections, they want to increase approval ratings, they want to get short-term economic wins, improve jobs data, they want to juice up the stock or property markets, etc. But these short-term decisions can occasionally occasionally come at the expense of the long-term financial health of a country. So on the other side, you then have the Federal Reserve, led by Jerome Powell. Now, the Fed is not elected, and that's very important because it does not need to make short-term decisions to cower to a voter base. Its job is deliberately narrow and boring, and that's by design. It exists to manage monetary policy, which effectively means setting interest rates, which in turn control inflation and maintain long-term financial stability. You often hear Jerome Powell talk about the Fed's dual mandate. The dual mandate is to promote price stability, so keep prices in the economy stable, and to maximize employment, so keep the unemployment rate as low as possible. Now, these can both be controlled by adjusting interest rates, which is the main actionable thing the Fed does every 6 to 7 weeks from meeting to meeting. Now, the interest rate, or more specifically the federal funds rate that is set, influences a lot of numbers in the economy. At its core, it influences the overnight borrowing rate between banks, but that's quite technical and boring. What it really means is it influences the amount of interest you get from keeping savings in the bank. It influences the interest people get from investing in government bonds. It influences mortgage rates. It influences the interest rate businesses have to pay to borrow money to expand. Broadly speaking, if interest rates rise, borrowing becomes more expensive, and when interest rates come down, borrowing becomes easier. It's cheaper to borrow. Now, right now, the US Fed funds rate sits between 3.5 and 3.75%. So could be higher and could be lower. And this brings us to the Trump versus Powell beef we've been seeing over the past year or so. From the perspective of Donald Trump, he wants interest rates lowered. That's politically favorable. Voters spend less servicing their mortgages, their car loans are cheaper, there's more money left in their pocket at the end of the week, and this usually means higher spending, businesses can thrive, they can borrow cheaply to expand, etc., etc. Low interest rates stimulate the economy. It's a great time, and importantly, it has the added benefit of allowing the government to refinance chunks of its monster debt pile at lower interest rates, and to borrow new money at a very cruisy interest rate, which is important when you want to rationalize massive spending, like, say, the big beautiful bill. At high interest rates, the spending looks a lot less beautiful. So Donald Trump has been trying to exert pressure on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates for quite a long time. Makes sense. And I mean, it sounds good, right? Why wouldn't you just want to lower interest rates? That sounds beautiful. Well, one of the big economic talking points we've seen over the past few years has been inflation. And this is also influenced by interest rates. So when the economy is thriving and interest rates are very low, people have money to spend and companies pick up on this and prices start to rise. That is exactly what we saw post-COVID. When everyone was locked down, the Fed lowered interest rates to zero to help people out. But then when the economy opened back up, there was that pent-up demand, and combined with the free money that people had been handed by the government, it meant that the supply-demand equation was thrown way off. There was way too much demand and not enough supply, and prices soared. The inflation rate hit 9.1% at its peak, which is huge for a country like the US. Now, left unchecked, inflation can spiral out of control. So when inflation spikes, the Federal Reserve steps in and raises interest rates. This makes borrowing harder, it takes more money out of people's pockets, and it puts the brakes on the economy. The supply-demand equation normalizes, and all of a sudden companies can't raise prices anymore. So you find that balance once again. So that's what happened. Jerome Powell and the FOMC raised interest rates to around 5.5%, and in doing so, inflation cooled back down. But this is where things get messy between Trump and Powell. The Fed does not want to release the clamps too quickly. In fact, inflation right now is still around 35% higher than the Fed's annual target. It's been floating around 3% for a while, not 2%. And there's concern that if they let off the clamp too quickly, then inflation will once again skyrocket. That's exactly what we saw back in the 70s and 80s. So ultimately, they've released the clamp very slowly. Now, the Fed actually has been lowering interest rates. They've lowered them 6 times, in fact, over the past year and a half. But this is not enough for Donald Trump. Trump wants a drastic reduction in the Fed funds rate to juice the economy as much as possible. But this is not a smart long-term move. This would be the move you make if you're a president that's in desperate need of a short-term hit, a short-term boost, but it would not be the right move for the long-term health of the US economy. And that is why the 12 voting members of the Federal Open Market Committee have elected not to lower rates steeply as Donald Trump wanted. This is the reason why it's so important that the Federal Reserve exists independently of the US government. They do not have to cower to the president. But as you can imagine, that's also not what the president wants to hear. And this is why you're now seeing play out, I'll call it what it is, dirty tactics. The Trump administration is now trying to find ways to forcibly remove Jerome Powell from his position and just drag his name through the mud. This is just a small collection of things Trump has said about Powell over the last year or so to try and tarnish the Fed chair's reputation.
You were criticizing the Federal Reserve chair before coming to this summit.
I think he's terrible.
Do you ever have a guy that's not a smart person and you're dealing with him and you have to deal? He's not a smart guy.
I think he's a very stupid person, actually. Low IQ for what he does.
I guess he's a political guy. I don't know. He's a political guy who's not a smart person, but he's costing the country a fortune.
Anybody would be better than Jay Powell. I think it's Trump derangements and arrest.
The president's latest demand came in a handwritten letter held up by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt at a press briefing yesterday. You see her there. Trump penned a message to Powell in Sharpie on a list of world central bank rates, writing in part, quote, "Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune."
And now he's gone one step further. But the crazy thing is, because Jerome Powell has literally just been doing his job over the past few years, they can't even go after him over his work as FOMC chairman. So they're trying to go after him over the renovation of some Federal Reserve buildings. Yes, I kid you not. The New York Times noting that the White House has zeroed in on a sprawling project the central bank has undertaken to renovate 2 historic buildings that will eventually house most of the Fed's staff. Now, this is a massive renovation of 2 Federal Reserve buildings. The Mariner S. Eccles building, which was built in 1935, and another building on Constitution Avenue, which was built in 1932. Now, these buildings have not seen a comprehensive renovation since they were built nearly 100 years ago. So it's a pretty major overhaul. Part of the project includes removing asbestos and lead contamination, as well as making the facilities compliant with modern-day accessibility laws. They're also adding things like a new parking garage, atriums, and skylights. So overall, it's a pretty big project. And to be fair, the project is expensive. It's around $700 million over budget and expected to cost $2.5 billion. And that's even after the Fed scaled back initial plans and has removed some features that the White House branded as extravagant. So, sure, take issue with it being over budget if you like. I mean, I'm personally not a big fan on big money being spent on government buildings, but we're talking about a criminal investigation here, and that doesn't quite add up.
I know Chairman Powell very well. I will be stunned. I will be shocked if he has done anything wrong.
I don't think Jay Powell's a criminal. I think he's a bad Fed chair.
Senator Tom Tillis labeling it amateur hour, saying the investigation calls into question the credibility of the Justice Department. Tillis, a key Republican who also sits on the Senate Banking Committee, threatening to block any of the president's future Fed nominees until the investigation into Powell is resolved.
My message to whoever who went after what I consider to be a vindictive prosecution to grow up and give the president better advice.
As this New York Times article notes, a president can remove a Fed chair only for cause, meaning gross misconduct or violating the law rather than a disagreement over monetary policy decisions. That protection was bolstered by the Supreme Court in a recent ruling regarding Mr. Trump's ability to remove officials at independent agencies last year. Essentially, to remove a Fed chair, the president must show something like gross misconduct, corruption, breaking the law, or serious ethical violations. They can't go after him because they don't like his policies. So what are they going after him about? Well, they are going to try and show that Jerome Powell has lied to Congress about the renovation works at the Federal Reserve buildings. And this is where things get particularly murky for Trump because as of now, there hasn't been any proven finding that Powell knowingly lied to Congress, but also, renovation projects of large federal buildings often change in cost over time, and they look very different on paper versus in execution. And the short of it is that cost overruns or the project changing in scope over time do not automatically equal deception. And to meet the legal standard of lying to Congress, investigators would need to show that Powell made factually false statements, he knew they were false at the time, and they were material to Congress's oversight role. Now, that's a very high bar. And to his credit, Jerome Powell addressed this immediately with that statement that he released, telling people exactly how it is.
This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
So I don't know, we'll obviously have to wait and see what actually happens with this, but to be honest, I don't really think Jerome Powell has anything to worry about. This is very clearly motivated by other factors, and I really hope that the Federal Reserve survives what's going on here. I know this sounds crazy because it's literally set up to be a fail-safe to prevent government overreach, but I don't know, man, this stuff's getting crazy. But I will say the good thing is that even after Jerome Powell's term finishes and he's replaced probably by this guy, Kevin Hassett, who absolutely prays at the altar of Donald Trump, the good thing is that there are 12 voting members of the Federal Reserve. It's not just the top dog. And that, I think, will be very important for the long-term stability of not only the Federal Reserve, but honestly the American economy. But with that said, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Also, before I sign off, I do just want to quickly plug that if you want to come along to a free 3-day investing workshop with myself and Phil Town, we are hosting another one in March. So it's March 6th to 8th. It's 3 full days. The ticket is free. And no, that definitely does not mean we're going to market to you for 3 days. This is essentially an event that myself and Phil are putting on to get the value investing community together and also to learn the Warren Buffett way. So we go over the full Warren Buffett strategy, how to use options as a value investor, and of course we are doing the exclusive barbecue at Phil's personal horse ranch too. So bring a friend, make a weekend out of it. I would absolutely love to see you there and just hang out. It's a really good chance to just hang out for 3 days. It is limited to a group of 300 people, so please secure your spot as soon as you can to make sure you don't miss out. But I hope to see you in Atlanta in March. So thanks very much for watching, guys. And with that said, I'll see you all in the next video.